Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Updates. Sorry so much for the late start, guys. Having a few technical difficulties, having a few scheduling issues with everything that's been going on again. Doing the move, and we do got some stuff going on today. So we're going to do our absolute best to do the best analysis that we can today to look at the markets. Obviously, a very interesting night last night. So we're going to go break that down. And again, I just want to put this out there from the very beginning. And I hope to build the technical case just as I built the technical case, and that I do try to patiently build the technical case for what I'm looking at and for the particular position that I'm taking. To build the technical case for why whichever side of the market that you are on, you should definitely be well protected, because we are entering a pretty interesting phase of the market cycle here. So let's go to the normal beginning of the show. Again, of course, I'm Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor here at Kraken Cryptocurrency. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you're tuning in from. And again, I am sorry for the late start, so we're going to do the best that we can with the time that we got. Guys, thank you so much. Your time is valuable, so let's make the best use of it. Of course, make sure you guys go over to freemmo.krakencryptocurrency.com, giving away 25,000 MMO coin. Proud partner, proud supporter of the show, guys. Make sure you guys go check out mmopro.org or mmocoin.pro if you guys would like some more information on the tiered proof of stake gaming coin. All right, let's see here. Let me say hello to the chat. Thank you so much, you lovely, patient people. I see Jasper, Turd Ferguson, Starman Jack. Good to see you, man. You stayed up till midnight in Thailand. Highly appreciated, man. I'm glad to see you in there. Jonathan Kraus, good to see you, my good dude. Moonshine Fuel, Jabba TV, Valentine, D7 Tom. Let's see. Matt, good to see you. If I missed anybody, I highly apologize. My shirt matches the wall. I really like the nice mauve tone. I got my go-to polos. I got my go-to Kraken Cryptocurrency t-shirts. All right, and coffee for the win today, guys. Coffee definitely for the win. Also, the question from yesterday was, we were talking about altcoins significantly yesterday for the good old alt sneezing continuing on. Most things pulling back, entering into a level of consolidation as all eyes now move toward Bitcoin to make a nice movement after putting in that nice Darth Maul. And this was essentially what Da Vinci posted this in the chat. And I think this pretty much sums up exactly what happened last night. A lot of people. A lot of longs got trapped in that movement to the upside. Yeah, Jasper for the win, man. Jasper for the win. Thank you so much for commenting yesterday. As you always do, 3 comments yesterday on that video, man. He said, I'm in BTT because this one guy who runs this Discord says it looked like a good coin. Then Soki, good to see it. So a lot of people getting trapped in the BTC long to the upside, but a lot of people probably getting trapped in the ETH to the long side and then ETH to the downside. So we'll see that when we get into the charts, guys. Let's check in with our fundamentals real quick, see if we can get some clarity for today. But I think the information coming from these is going to be less relevant than the actual technical setup when we look at price action and where liquidity is at. Now, price has responded to those levels. Yep, so pretty much flat overall on the day. When we go look at some pretty significant volume in the last 24 hours, as we can see here, just in 1 minute little tick right there, 72 million to the sell side, followed by 74 million to the buy side. So that was fun. That was fantastic for anybody that was awake and watching that. Just lovely times that we see. Looking at vcdef.io, and let's look at the nearest 5% of price. What do we got going on? We've got MDR relatively flat. MDR currently sitting at negative 3.66. Cannot make a strong directional position out of that. Pretty much just tight consolidation with an emphasis to the downside. Let's go we'll look at the bid-ask sum as well. Taking a look at the bid-ask sum, looking at Coinbase within 5% of price, we do see price. Let's see here. Yep, pretty much just absolutely flat on the bid-ask sum as well. Going to BitMEX. Yep, nice increase in both, and then a sudden nice sharp spike off. So we'll get into this absorption concept here in just a little bit. And of course, we also do like to look at Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix looking a little bit more bearish than bullish, but overall flat. None of this is extremely decisive, man. P. Escobar, can I check out TRX? I'd love to, man. All right, so let's hop over to the chats. Or excuse me, the charts. And so we're going to do 2 things here. We're going to do 2 things with the technical analysis of Bitcoin today. I'm going to lay out a couple different scenarios, and we're going to keep it on the 8-hour chart. But I'm going to lay out a couple different scenarios because, and then we're going to conclude with where with where I think the price is most likely to go, based on my setup and where I have my money in the market. So, but I'm going to do something that you're probably not going to see a lot of YouTubers lay out. And I'm going to build the bullish and the bearish case. All right. I'm going to build the case for 4,600. I'm going to build the case for 3,400, 3,300. Potentially much lower. And this is really going to be deterministic of how you view the markets and what elements go into your analysis and what you put the most weight on. So, first off, the things that I want to talk with. Let's see. I work at Honeywell. Just the thought of Honeywell Moon, I get none of it, but at least the overlords let me wear earbuds. Not so bad. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us, coming live from Honeywell. Okay, let's see here. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about with, and actually, let's go to the MEX chart to break this down. So this is the nice Darth Maulishness that we got to see last night. Pretty much right before so we were streaming live on one of the subscribers' channels. So that was Pylai. If you guys go check him out on Twitch, we were live. It was me, Sally, Pima, Ken, Paul, and oh crap. I feel like there was one other person there. But anyways, we were streaming on his channel last night. So we're going to probably do a little bit more of that moving forward, just some late night trading, looking at positions like in TRX and Storm, and we were looking at a bunch of stuff. People were coming in and giving requests, so that was fun. That was a good time, and hopefully we'll be doing more of that moving forward. But anyways, so this is what we got to wake up to last night. A lot of individuals coming in here, and a lot of individuals probably entering low down there as well, if you're even lucky enough to catch this. So now you're looking at this probably with a lot of anxiety, and I would assume that you're a lot of individuals are going to look at this position with a lot of anxiety. So let's clarify this, in my opinion, and because we need to start building a framework so we can build a case to the upside or to the downside. Okay, but we need to look at what's happened. So during yesterday's show, I talked about the fact that we had 1, 2, 3 fairly equal highs right here that had not been rated. So when we're talking about concepts of liquidity grabs or stop loss runs or stop runs, this is exactly what we see right here, and this is exactly what we see. And I talked about that would be the primary area to be looking for entry into a short position. I said that ideally, the area that we had been originally targeting was the liquidity grab for all the trapped buyers up here looking for rejection, which is absolutely what we saw. And then we talked about for those individuals that were not able to get their bags filled or were not able to get their limits filled because that happened fairly quickly, and potentially you would have not had opportunities with strong confirmation to look for entry there. However, just seeing rejection from a liquidity zone, a previously bullish order block where price did break up from, and ideally what should have been a level of demand that was disrespected on the way back down. And we've talked about this at length. When you have an area on the chart, a horizontal area on the chart that was previously support or representing demand, when that level is disrespected on the retest, that level generally returns very strongly into what it once was previously. So support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. Areas on the chart that were once supply becomes areas of demand, and vice versa. So we have an area here of aggressive initiation on the chart, a lot of individuals buying into the breakout, a lot of individuals aggressively market buying this position right here, as well as anybody that attempted to short this range being aggressively liquidated. And then we saw price run up to about 4,200 and then reject all the way back down here to 3,700. And we talked about that on the stream. This is old news, but I just want to make the case, because this is kind of like case evidence one for the fact that at this area we have a lot of trapped buyers, okay? Because a lot of individuals that did buy into this potentially who did not get liquidated, and we're talking about spot price as well. So make sure that whenever we're talking about MEX, that you're not being overly obsessed with 25x leverage, 10x leverage, 50x leverage. Of course, all those individuals and market participants are out of the market, but you do have larger positions that are not that leveraged. And again, we're also talking about areas of rejection from spot price. So BTC USDT, BTC USD on Coinbase, for example, or BTC USDT on Binance, you have individuals that did aggressively market buy into that area, as makes sense. So any individuals that did not take the opportunity to exit, or ideally, and here's the secondary point, anybody who looked at price here and said, well, I'm going to buy a pullback to previous resistance, which should now be support. So you're going to have any scenario like this, you're going to have individuals that are going to blindly set limit orders at what should be new levels of support when you're talking about coming back for support resistance flips or support resistance tests, because your hypothesis, your thesis is that previous resistance will now turn into new support. So you're going to have limit orders placed in this area. Now, what did price do? Price crashed completely through those limit orders, and anyone that did not have their stops triggered, especially when we're talking about spot price. So we have a lot of individuals that bought that area down and are trapped buyers. When price returned to that area, they used the opportunity to exit at break even. Whether these were actual leveraged positions on BitMEX, or whether we're simply talking about the correlation between spot price, BTC USDT, and BitMEX, XBT USD. Either way, this area represents an area that should have been demand, was disrespected as demand by aggressive sellers. So when price returned to that area, any trapped buyers took the opportunity to exit their positions at a very slight loss, potential profit, or break even. And aggressive sellers took the opportunity to target an area on the chart that should now be fresh supply or fresh resistance, because we're talking about an SR flip in a previous area of demand that was disrespected. We expect it to become supply resistance, which is exactly what it did. Anyways, so then we formed this overall period of consolidation. Open interest is falling very low. Volatility is getting very, very low, and we are entering into an apex of a movement. I do think that we're on the verge of a very significant movement. And the reason why I'm going to lay out both the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario is so that you can take your best analysis. And again, we will conclude this with where I currently sit on this. But I want to make sure that that I'm being as honest as I can with the best technical analysis that I can, and my experience of this as well, because you can build a convincing case either way. And whichever direction that you're actually going to put your money on is going to be that distance, that gap between analysis and trading, the difference between speculative, hey man, let's just draw lines on a chart and talk about what's likely possible, or the confidence to actually have a strategy and a system and a method of technical analysis that allows you to confirm your directional bias or eliminate your directional bias and allow you to take profitable positions in the marketplace. That's a gap, man. Everybody, a lot of people are overly obsessed, and that's absolutely fine, with technical analysis or analysis just in and of itself, just analysis for analysis' sake. Again, there's nothing wrong with analysis, but you're going to see a lot of that stuff on CNBC. You're going to see a lot of that stuff on C-SPAN, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to see a lot of it on Twitter. You're going to see a lot of it in Discord channels. And there's nothing wrong with analysis, but just keep in mind that if you are looking to actually make trading an aspect of your life, and if you're actually looking to make playing in the marketplace or taking positions a part of your life, then you need to have a nice noise filter on what is relevant analysis. Is this analysis relevant to you opening or establishing a position or managing risk? If not, kick that out, man. Anyways, so let's see. Darth Maul must have small hands. He's got little baby hands. Look at the small size of that lightsaber, the full body of that lightsaber. All right, so let's continue right along with this, guys. And again, I'm not trying to bore you guys here, but I do think this is important because we need to lay some groundwork for which direction we're going to move in the market here. So we see something very similar. Something very similar to what we saw over here. And I pointed this out last night in the Discord. So I talked about this as an example to, and you can see that I have it right here. Basically, what do we see when price is in a trading range? This is just going to be a brief tangent. I apologize. So what do we see here? We have a clearly established range high, or excuse me, we have a clearly established range low. We have a stop loss hunt. We have a liquidity run down here to the downside. And we see the same thing here to the upside. So we have a range high. And this is going to be very typical. BitMEX is either going to be doing shit like this, or shit like this, but general for the majority of time, BitMEX is going to be doing stuff like this. So once you understand, I think, the typical structure of BitMEX when price is ranging, because again, price is either trending very strongly or ranging. So when you can establish the metrics of how a ranging market acts, looks, behaves, and how you should ideally look to enter into the market when price is ranging, I think that you will be much more equipped to take more profitable positions because the point here is that we have areas on the chart here that in general are going to act as support and resistance. So we can just clearly see here in this trading range, we have this area coming in roughly around 38.20 acting as resistance, just on a glance of the just on a glance of the market. And we also see this my cyan horizontal coming in here around 37.70, roughly acting as support. Okay. Now, I've just used Fibonacci to make it quite easy, but what do we see here? We see that we eventually get a complete stop hunt to the downside of that area and a stop hunt to the upside. So what we can see here is that any positions entered inside the equilibrium area, this is the equilibrium area, whether you're, I prefer to use equilibrium zones, although the true zone, the 50% fib retracement of that level would actually be right here in the middle. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that any position entered in here is a bad position. All right. You can use different methods to figure out whether you bought at a bad price or a good price. Again, I think I've seen a lot of stuff. A lot of people use things like VWAP, or there's going to be moving averages or volume, anything. But the main concept when you're just talking about horizontals, which is what I like to stick it to, is your range. Anything bought within the middle of the range is generally a bad position when you're in a ranging market. So you're always looking to enter to the short side on anywhere above the equilibrium block, and you're always looking to enter to the long side anything below the equilibrium block. And generally you're going to do well because, again, when you're looking to short resistance and long support, you're going to be right every single time except for the one time the price actually makes a decisive movement out of the trading range, all right, on convincing candle body closes. So really what you're looking for are convincing candle body closes out of your trading range. Now, you're not always going to be right 100% of the time. For example, we do see multiple areas here where you could have gotten faked out, for example. This one probably wouldn't have been such a fake out because, again, you do have a strong candle body close, or excuse me, you do have a candle close outside of the equilibrium block, but a very massive wick, so absorption of the selling pressure. And I don't think we've really... Again, I didn't short this. I didn't advise anybody to market short this. But anyways, I don't want to get too off on that tangent. So I just wanted to talk about that and talk about trading ranges there for a second. But anyways, so we see the exact same thing over here in general. We see overall price being still in this trading range, making a little bit of a run above it, but getting rejected from that liquidity zone. Now, when we come over here, again, we see roughly the same thing, price being relatively flat. And the main concept that I want to point out here, and that I just want to make sure I elucidate, is that we have three equal highs. We have three equal highs. We do have savvy traders entering into short positions in this area, but more often than not, we have people attempting to aggressively market buy into what they think is a breakout generally, just as we see aggressive market selling here into what individuals think is going to be a breakdown. So, and that's something that I caution you not to do, man, because whenever you're going to do that, whenever you try to aggressively market buy into what you think is a breakout, or whenever you aggressively try to market sell into what you think is a breakdown, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be wrong, and price is going to move in the opposite direction. If not immediately, like you might get a little bit of profit, and this is just common. This is common. Like this happens so often to everybody on BitMEX. Like this is one of the most common questions that I get. This is one of the most common things that I see is that people will aggressively market enter into a position. They think they're good. Their P&L is green for a few minutes or like 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. And then all of a sudden price just starts moving in the opposite direction because they entered in the wrong area. They didn't enter with patience. They entered into the wrong area of the zone because this is all about timing, guys. So it does behoove you to observe the market for a while and allow a trading range to establish your horizontal levels of support and resistance, and then you can begin targeting short selling highs or liquidity grabs to the upside, and you can begin targeting long trades to the upside. Again, I do think that being a reversal trader in cryptocurrency is going to serve you the best. Just understand it comes with inherent risk. And the reason why I say that is because generally it's going to be it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Time transformation and other indicators like it do help you catch trends. But in general, it's often difficult to discern when price is trending. And from a more macro perspective, I mean, price has done nothing but in general trend to the downside. So when we're looking to be revert, so let's be a little bit more clear. Let's be a little bit more clear with what we're talking about. All right, strongly trending, ranging, okay? Strongly trending, ranging. So it's not overly difficult, I think, in cryptocurrency to determine when price is ranging and when price is trending, based on the fact that when price when price trends in cryptocurrency, it tends to trend fairly strongly for a significant period of time. And when it ranges, that's been pretty much ranging price 90% of the time, man. Ken, what's going on, bro? I told you, man, I went to sleep at 6:40. It kicks the ripsaw at 7. You're damn right, man. That's what I got to wake up to as well. Cool, yeah. Hey, Justin, good to see you, man. Secure Cryptocurrency says market range 80% of the time anyways and trends 20%. I agree with you as far as when bad trading decisions are made. Thank you for the TA. Hey, thank you, man. Jurgen says, hello, listening in. Thank you, man. Gypsy Hill, it's nice to know I've been doing it right. Listening to you gives me confidence as a new trader. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad to have you here. Oh, by the way, thank you to the new subscribers on Twitch. We got Sir C, Jitka, Skalika, Mike Stockman, Jonathan Kariga, Austin Kelly, Matt Dandurand, and Skylar Woods. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the subs on YouTube. Highly appreciate it. Ryan Atkinson asks, would the VPVR or the other segmented volume by price indicator be good to really qualify the tops and bottoms of the trending range? Yes, I use horizontal support and resistance refined by the volume profile. Yes. Jasper asks, can we have a quick look at XVG? Hasn't had a pump yet, looks ready. Yes, we'll take a look at Verge, man. Be happy to do that. Let me go over to the editor and adjust that schedule. I just realized that schedule is looking gnarly, man. I didn't adjust the schedule. That's a nar schedule right there. That's the nar, man. BTC or USDT, bro? All right, so let's continue breaking this down. Now that we're into this fairly decently. Okay, 8-hour time frame on MEX. So having said all that, what have we seen here? We've seen, so now that we've established where we've been, I want to establish where we're likely to go. And I'm going to start building the bullish and the bearish scenario. Because, let's see here. Pretty much going into the New York Open, which again, looking at the London Open and the New York Open are critical areas to be watching at critical times to be watching in the market. But anyways, we do see a raid or a stop loss hunt or a liquidity run to the upside, clearing out where all the liquidity was here right above these 3 levels of equal highs. Okay, so when you're looking at, again, trading range, support, or excuse me, resistance, support, equilibrium, you're looking to go short outside of the equilibrium. You're looking to go long below equilibrium. Now, this is a fairly violent example, and this is just what we're going to get with BitMEX. But in general, the concept holds true. Yeah, we're gonna look at SPY, man. Now, I'm going to be quite honest, with the exception of this candle right here, which is fairly deterministic. In general, it's actually not, but in general, price action still looks relatively weak. Okay, so current price action still looks relatively weak. Volatility overall, excluding this candle, is still extremely low, regardless of what metric you want to use, whether you're looking at ATR, whether you're looking at WADA-ATAR, whether you're looking at the volatility index, either way. If we look down at the lower time frames, basically, let's look at the 15-minute chart here. So we do see that nice raid of the highs. The only thing that is deterministic here is the fairly rapid absorption of that selling pressure, right? Had we just seen, and this is the reason why I'm going to build the bullish case, had we just seen extremely aggressive dumpage with follow-through, this would have been classically what you would be looking for. So the 15-minute chart, the trading range is a little bit clearer here. You have your range low, you have your range high, right? And you're looking to go short above the equilibrium zone, because again, you're only going to be wrong once. And you're looking to go long below the EQ zone. Again, you're only going to be wrong once. So we had that nice raid going into the New York Open, clearing liquidity out to the upside. The only thing that concerns me, and again, why I'm going to build the bullish case, is because we did see some fairly swift absorption of that aggressive selling pressure. So, Depending on how you want to look at this, I think the appropriate way is to, again, this 38.55 level on the chart, in my opinion, is now forming a bearish breaker because we are now trying to punish individuals that attempted to aggressively short into the marketplace by establishing this breaker right here. I think that if we, but really that's more clearly up here at 38.77 to be quite honest. But anyways, so if we, so based upon that, based upon the fact that we had a raid and a clearing of liquidity, and what we would expect to be, what we would expect to see, because that movement was something that had been anticipated. We talked about that yesterday. What was not overly anticipated was the absorption, was the very aggressive selling. You know, I would have liked to see classically what would have been just the beautiful case and scenario for a downside movement here from a technical perspective on Bitcoin is the raid of the highs. Rejection, which we saw, consolidation, and then fairly violent selling to the downside. Right? You would expect to see a bounce off the range low here because again, you have liquidity here. Whether that would occur here or at previous support or at 37.31, or whether that happened a little bit below the range lows. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You expect to see some movements like that. But the fact that we saw such swift absorption, bringing us just directly back to equilibrium. So if we are now able to get back above 38.77, in my humble opinion, right? If we're actually able to reestablish pretty much areas where all the trapped longs, not trapped longs, but if we're able to establish the support level, then I'm probably going to start looking for opportunities to go long. We've talked about this area for a long time on the chart because there was a lot of liquidity in areas around this area. Now, it's only been tested once. Okay, I think it's already been tested, or not. I think, but it already has been tested once. But putting in something like this, we would expect to begin the downside movement, especially when we look at other aspects as well, which we're going to get into. But if we're able to reclaim this level right here, ideally, I'm probably going to be looking for a long position, and I'm actually probably going to be looking for that long position back up to that 4,200, 4,250 area for an initial take profit target, just as I said, and 4,500, 4,600 for an additional movement. Now, that's fairly deterministic, and there's other reasons for laying out that case. So let me fully make out the bullish case here. So if we're making a bullish scenario here, we're saying reaccumulation. All right. We're saying this is reaccumulation, right? We had aggressive buying. We had very aggressive selling near resistance for many, many reasons. Price pulls back down, but we've had very little aggressive follow through after this very strong selling aggressive movement in the market. We haven't had any aggressive significant follow through. In fact, we've continued to grind our way back up, and overall, this level of consolidation would represent reaccumulation. And after reaccumulation, we would begin making new highs. And yes, all the strong selling pressure is being absorbed. So that's the case that you're making as well for reaccumulation. Individuals are using limit orders to take advantage of aggressive sellers in the marketplace to accumulate larger positions. We are holding a higher low structure overall. We are forming a higher low structure overall from the macro sense, as you can see here, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. The other things you would probably be looking at are the golden cross that everybody's talking about, volatility being extremely low, trading above, when we're looking at, for example, like let's look at volume profile on the higher time frames. Let's just look at the current overall range. Here we go. Let's look at the overall range low, range high, or whether you want to take this as the range. But anyways, we can lay out either case. We're trading above the range point of control. We're trading above equilibrium. So the equilibrium level for the range would be right here, which is exactly where we wicked down to. Pretty much wicked down right to equilibrium. Okay. And then if we take a shorter view of the range, such as right here. So if we look at this as our range, see price trading above the point of control. Price trading above equilibrium. So that's the bullish scenario, right? And you could add in other things as well. You could add in other things as well. But I've seen a lot of stuff, man. I've seen so many people have been throwing me charts. I've seen pennants getting tight. Somebody sent me a chart of the TTM squeeze, how it's going to pulse here in a second. If you guys are familiar with TTM squeeze, exponential moving averages, being very, very flat, for example, or Ichimoku being very flat. All signs that what's going to follow next should be a fairly violent movement. Andrew Munn says, dude, every time I wake up and start coffee and turn you up while listening in the house, the goddamn dog starts howling and barking, looking at the screen. He likes it, apparently. Whack job. Will Campbell says, do I ever use range candles in TradingView? No. But it's not a bad idea. Just learn to effectively use them. Range candles and Renko can be powerful tools. I'm not overly excited with how TradingView actually paints them. But they can be very powerful tools, especially if you take the time scenario out of your element. Spy SPX on edge until Brexit vote comes back. They don't know what they're doing over there, man. Justin, how would you know if it's a hunt both ways instead of a hunt up and then a dump down? Because okay, so a hunt. So typically, and again, this comes down to a level of subjectivity, but in my experience and the way that I look at the charts, when you see an area on the chart like this, where you have consolidation and you have equal highs, that creates a logical area for stop loss placement. So anybody that's trying to go short in this market right here, in this consolidation, which I think is the logical retail conclusion to go short, like from consolidation. But again, that's why I laid out the fact that you don't, when price is ranging, you don't enter into positions in equilibrium. You set limit orders. But anyways, yeah, so you have a logical stop loss placement here for retail traders. You have a logical area where individuals are going to want to enter the market for institutional flow. Yeah, this is the area to place limit orders, and so any violent wick and then rejection from that area would represent a stop loss hunt. This to me does not necessarily represent a stop loss hunt because you don't really have a stop loss hunt to the downside. This is absorption, in my opinion. This is aggressive buying. The reason why is because you're not going below any significant lows. You're just coming back down to relatively the same area of liquidity. You haven't really established something like you established here, where you have equal highs that have been untested. And typically, again, this is pretty popular. I see this kind of method of charting all the time. When people are, and this is fine, it's just being overly obsessed with price action, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. But you're going to plot out, you're going to look for logical stop loss placements, and wait for them to be rated. So, like for example, you got this area right here. You've got the low. So anybody that's trying to buy right here is probably going to set their stop loss below the low. So you'd place something like a check mark, like, yep, hey, we liquidity grabbed that area. That level's nothing anymore. Cool, done with that. We come over here. So you'd say, well, this low hasn't been rated yet, right? This low technically hasn't been rated yet. But what you're looking for logical levels of liquidity, right? So you don't want to be, and this is the problem with doing this kind of analysis. The problem is you don't want to be that guy who is looking for liquidity runs in every single wick, because not every single wick is going to be a liquidity run. I think this is pretty clear to make the case for it is. You have equal highs, you have an untested area of liquidity, stop loss hunt above. This down here, this isn't anything really significant. You don't really have an equal level. You don't really have an attractive area to be placing stop limits to the top. That's why I view that more as actual accumulation, or absorption. Really is what it is. Absorption is the correct term. Anyways, so. Oh, we've got other things too. Like again, looking at volatility getting very low, whether you're looking at the volatility index or the ATR, whether you're looking at something like open interest is still really high. You have interest in new positions being put on, whether you're looking at the tensor charts, open interest, or whatever. And then again, all your technical indicators are getting just squeezed, man. Whether you're looking at this as like a pennant or whether you're looking at this as some kind of triangle, I think you're bupkissing doing that, but whatever. Whether you're looking at your exponential moving averages or any indicator is pretty much going crazy right now, telling you that something's about to happen, which you can just see in price action is kind of going on. So let's now that we've laid out the bullish case, let's lay out the bearish case. The bearish case is distribution. So rejection from 4,000, after taking the highs, right? So we have highs, right? We have previous highs over here, untested highs here. Took the highs, rejected from 4,000, forming lower lows, right? Lower lows, waiting to make a lower low, because you don't really have this established as a higher low because we haven't really decisively moved up from this area. You've got higher highs on decreasing volume. You've got overall rejection from your liquidity zone right here. You've got no follow through on bullish momentum. And again, just looking at this in a general, I don't really know how I feel about this, but let's I guess we'll try. Looking at this as sort of, again, you guys know how I feel about chart patterns, but looking at this as an ascending channel, I would assume, on falling volume, typically very bearish. And also, the fact this would be an advanced level of analysis, or counter trade analysis, looking at social media sentiment, seeing that it's very, very bullish. Looking at the golden cross that just occurred that everybody's just absolutely going crazy for, and what do we have? No follow through because again, I posted a chart. In fact, I published it on TradingView, and I plotted all the golden and death crosses that would have happened on the daily time frame, and I plotted out how like 85% of them would have gotten you in at the very worst time in the market, and only a couple positions would have got you in at good times. So. Generally, when you're going to get a golden cross or a death cross, the movement has already happened, man. Movement's already happened. Let's see here. How do you get the VPVR? I don't see it indicators. You have to have a paid TradingView account to use VPVR, man. How do you hedge your XBT on BitMEX? 50% long, 50% short, mate. Highest probability scenario from Anton Senev says highest probability scenario, Bitcoin moving up to 4,250 and then dumping to 3,800, further dumping to 3,670. I mean, that's a possibility, man. Anything can happen. I think that if we, 4,250 is where I'm going to be reducing risk. And I'd still be looking for higher targets. But yeah, 4,250, as I've said many times, if we qualify bullish scenario entries here, and then that's where I reduce 50% and move my stop loss to break even. It's bright in here. BTC dump or pump in the near time, especially for the altcoins. Please reply. Please reply. This is an urgent message. Please, sir. No, yeah, definitely, man. It's decision time. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen right now. I am of the opinion that we're going to see something fairly volatile. And the reason why I want you guys to start paying attention, and again, altcoins are exciting. We've had some good movements from everything, man. Altcoins are exciting. But I just want to make sure that you guys are not on the wrong side of a $600 movement here, okay? Kyle Mitchell says, someone requested TRX, sir. Look at that TRX. Yes, we'll look at TRX. Bad Andy says, what's my thoughts on sell in May and go away? Oh, sell in May and go away. Depends on the asset class, man. TRX +1. Okay, yeah, we'll look at TRX, guys. Could you give us your views on Brexit in the UK and how it affects the London opening markets for crypto, please? Thanks. Well, this is what we talked about last night. So this is what Sally and I talked about, because we were looking at some forex pairs like CAD US and Euro USD, and he's fundamentally bearish on the euro and the European economy, and I can't help but agreeing with him. And he's fundamentally strong on the dollar. So that means that we should see the euro decline, and anything that's based against the dollar probably decline if the USD is going to be your base currency and not your quote base. So I don't really have, to be quite honest with you, man, I don't have a strong opinion on Brexit. I can say that, and I don't want to get like overly political with this, because that's probably a conversation for another place or another time. Like, in general, I don't think that the EU is doing a good job. I could be much more vehement or volatile in my approach here, but in general, I'm generally not okay with or not supportive of what I've seen come out of that thing. And perhaps it would be better were not the philosophical leanings of those organizations typically toward. Again, I have nothing wrong with globalism per se. I have a problem with, I think, a particular philosophical approach to globalism that is not founded on individuality and freedom. So again, not people are going to be like, rah rah rah, you're just a dumb American, you don't know anything. Yeah, potentially, but defense distributed, you know what I'm saying? Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that, man. Let's see here. When there's a big Darth Maul candle, is there any clue to market direction based on weather? Yes. If it's cold outside, we're dumping. If it's hot outside, we're gonna pump. No, I'm just kidding, man. On whether the candle goes up or down first. When there's a big Darth Maul candle, is there any clue to market direction based on whether the candle goes up or down first? Yeah, I mean, so let's just look at this one right here. Again, I talked about this yesterday, man. Like this, broadly speaking, and it's not like I have a crystal ball, but broadly speaking, this portion of this candle was to be expected, because you've invited, by creating really four equidistant highs right here and putting in bearish momentum, meaning, so what that means is, so look, we rejected from resistance, right? Previous level that should have acted as demand did not, is going to become resistance in the future, is going to become supply, because you have trap buyers that want to exit at break even. Okay. And then so that happens. You reject from resistance and price moves down on pretty good volume. This is a pretty good short trade right here. You know what I mean? That's a pretty good short trade. And so because of that, then price pulls back up and starts petering out. You've got people thinking, you've got them convinced that, hey, this is probably a good short entry, man. Look, I mean, it's just logical. Like, look, price came down, had a little bit of support here, pulled back up, rejected from resistance. Let's go short. All right. And again, that's not a bad trade, especially if you have proper stop loss placement. So like my stop, again, you don't want to place your stop loss here. You want to place your stop loss up here. But yeah, rejection from resistance, not a bad area to put into a trade, but you invite logical stop loss placement above this area, this range right here, because you've put in 1, 2, 3, 4 highs, and this is the 8-hour time frame, right? And none of those areas have been cleared, have been rated. And that's something that you're going to see over and over and over and over again. You see it in all markets. You see it in all asset classes. That's what market makers exist to do. They seek to move price toward where there's liquidity, right? Because the market wants liquidity. But in BitMEX, it's just going to be more violent and more frequent because of the relatively thin order book. So I think that's a good strategy. And again, it's not to say that you can't just get by or that you have to be overly obsessed with it. So I just want to caution you guys, like, this is very useful information and very useful trading strategy. But don't go down the price action is all you need rabbit hole. I highly recommend that you don't go down the price action is all you need rabbit hole, right? Because it's a good tool in your tool belt, but you do need to have, in my humble opinion, a good basket of indicators that are going to help you make objective decisions. Selling may have worked last year, but will it work this year? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on that. Qdom pumped on positive news. No TA that can predict that kind of movement. You're darn right. LTC USD on Finex. Yeah, I don't mind looking at that. What time is it? 1:22. I think I'm gonna go grab some water here in a second after I finish talking about Bitcoin. Thanks, Jonathan. Do you think this might be a capitulation candle drop so soon, or give it a few weeks? I think we're going to move. Yeah, I would speculate that we're going to move sooner rather than later. Why are the big moves happening always at the weekend? Yeah, that is an interesting thing. I've commented on that before, like the fact that typically we don't like to trade on the weekends, but like Friday night and Saturday, big moves in the market. So it's Thursday right now. So I would not be surprised to see a fairly big movement tomorrow evening or Saturday morning. Do I see an Adam and Eve pattern from the bottom till now? Like from the absolute bottom? I mean, yeah, maybe. There's nothing to do with it though. I mean, yeah, I could see the case. So you've got your Adam and you've got your Eve, or you got your Eve. And again, I've even seen charts that are like, bro, look at this cup and handle, man. Again, I don't think that any prop trader can walk into his firm and go, hey, boss, check it out, man. We've got $38 billion under asset right here. Look at this, man. I see a cup and handle forming on. SPX. Should we go? I think that's a sackable offense right there, man. I think if you walk into your firm manager's office, if you're a prop trader and you tell them you see a cup and handle, they're probably going to fire you on the spot. Just my humble opinion. Retail traders trade cup and handles and stuff like that. Professional traders generally don't, in my humble opinion. And I'm not trying to. Again, I trade for a living, but I'm not trying to necessarily put myself in that category. I'm just saying that when you're talking about prop traders and desk traders and floor managers and things like that, yeah, I haven't run into anybody that takes cup and handles and shit like that seriously. But so more importantly, but to also like differentiate a little bit more clearly, yeah. So if this is an Adam and Eve pattern, yeah, that's a reversal bottom pattern. But at the same thing, like it could. So maybe it's an inverted head and shoulders still, guys. Left shoulder, head. We just any dip, man. We're just buying any dip down here, and we're gonna buy it bigly. You know what I mean? But the confirmation comes, guys, like kind of the same thing that we've been talking about, guys. Weekly time frame. And we've added like more lines to the chart now, so I apologize because we've been trading in such a tight range. But from the macro perspective, nothing's really changed. You've got your bearish equilibrium block. Sorry, let's go over to the USDT chart because I think I've kept that much cleaner. Yeah, weekly time frame. Let's go look at oozed. All you're looking for the daily to do is open and close above your weekly level, above your bearish order block, man. 48.8, 41.61, and let's roll. Now, I've laid out the scenario for entering into those trades earlier based off my TA, but from a macro perspective, like below here you're bearish, below here you're bearish, really below here you're bearish, to be quite honest. But below here you're always looking for a bull trap, which I do think is going to happen. I think that if price comes up here to 4,600 or 5,000. I'll be taking profits at 4,600. Well, I might take the momentum to 5,000, but somewhere around here, I'm expecting to see us come back and retest this area. If it holds, cool, man. Maybe we'll get that push to 6,000. But more than likely, it breaks through. Doesn't mean we have to go. Doesn't mean we have to go low, man. Again, I talked about this earlier. If this is the low, then we'll never retest it, dude. If 31.56 is the low, then we're never going back near that level, guys. Ever, ever, ever. Personally, I think it's more likely that we do go back and retest that level. And by retesting, I mean go lower. But I guess that's one of the nice things about being a trader. All I have to do is make a profitable trade. Let's see here. Unelected bureaucrats, you're darn right. It's like one little finger. You'd be finding a new job. Yeah, you guys are right, man. Wick City testing liquidity for an incoming move. Okay, so I want to wrap this portion of Bitcoin up. So but I think this is the most important, guys. I think the corn's about to make a pretty strong move, guys. I don't want you guys to be on the wrong side of a movement. So again, use whatever method of analysis or trading that you want to. My personal approach at this point in time is if I see an 8-hour close above 38.77. A pretty strong close above 38.77. Then I'm going to expect us to blast through this level. So I'm going to edit my previous position. I'm going to post that up here in just a little bit, guys. I'm expecting if price can reclaim this after this liquidity grab that we're gonna move higher, probably quickly. If we don't, and we end up rejecting from this breaker right here, then I think we're gonna slowly grind back down. I think it's gonna be violent if we break this level. I think it'll be violent to the upside. But if we reject from the breaker, then it's probably going to be a slow grind down here to the range low, and then we won't see that strong movement until tomorrow night or Saturday. Okay, so just make sure you guys pick a side, guys, pick a path, but make sure you protect your decision well, because I think we're going to see something pretty strong, man. Are BTC pairs cleaner than USDT pairs? I like trading USDT pairs when Bitcoin's doing things because they have their own particular level of liquidity. But when BTC is flat like this, higher risk, higher reward, BTC pairs pump more, man. I'm not sure if you answered my question, but some people are saying the high on February 24th is the first higher high we made since 20K. Do I agree? Sorry, let's go back and look. No, generally I don't. So this bad boy right here. I shouldn't have to look at it this long. I want to say yes, and I want to say no. I mean, yeah, you have it's higher than this level right here, but it's not higher than this level right here, and it's higher than this level right here. So, I mean, because we're making higher highs in this range right here, we're making higher highs in this range right here. It comes down to what level of subjectivity you want to see. So obviously this aspect of the market cycle is bearish. We have lower lows, higher lows, or excuse me, lower highs, lower lows. This area of the market cycle is bullish. We've got higher highs, higher lows, blah, 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 blah. This area is consolidation-y. This area is consolidation-y. This area is whack-a-noodle, to be quite honest, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd be comfortable with either way, man. Either way, I don't think it's deterministic. It needs to have some follow through to be deterministic. Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, it's a higher high in relation to this high over here. It's a lower high in relation to this high over here, which is probably more significant for the market. But because this is like a clear turning around, this is a clear turning around. This is a bull trap. But yeah, whether or not it becomes significant or not. In fact, I'm not even basing a lot off this level. I'm not using it as a level of resistance. I'm not using it as a level of support. I'm not even looking at it to be rated, to be honest with you. One 337 elite power to achieve. Hell yeah, Team Edward. Which side to pick? I just got here to this party. What's up, Tenacious? Higher high on the daily close since 20,000 meme lines. Vote to delay. What a mess they create. Yeah, man. Satoshi Saturday brings high tides. Hey, what's going on, Nick Van? This is TradingView. And this is also YouTube. So anyways, okay. I think that's a lot, man. We went over a lot, bro. Current battle plan, if we reclaim 38.77, I'm going to be pretty bullish, actually, if we can actually get back above this level where we've already crabbed liquidity. And the only reason I'm going to use that level, is because of this portion of the wick, right? That's a lot of absorption. It's a lot of absorption on high volume. I would have been, if this had worked out any other way, if this had worked out as because again, we talked about this. This was to be expected. This stop run is to be expected. This wasn't. This kind of throws a wrench into the plan. This does. And we have to, at least I do. I have to adjust my current strategy to fit what market conditions are doing. So, had we seen the liquidity grab to the upside, which we were expecting, and then just the inverted hammer or just the evening star, and then consolidation below the breaker, and then the break. That's what we wanted to see, and we would have been bearish as all get out. We'd be having a very different conversation right now. But because we saw a Darth Maul candle on very high volume and absorption down here, I have to start opening up the concept that okay, let's go for a run. Now I do want to. Let's look at what we looked at yesterday, though. Let's look at ETH. Okay, look at what ETH did. ETH. So I didn't have a position in BTC. Position in ETH though. So I talked about this yesterday. I got filled at 134. I told you guys I had limits at 135 and 136. Got fully filled. My stop loss is at 140. So last night, I just got to wake up to this. I got fully filled. I have an average entry of 135 now, and my take profit one hit at 129. So stops at break even right now. Out of my position, I'll probably add to my position if price starts trending down, but no guarantees. But if we go over here and look at the longs versus shorts ratio, still at 4.55, guys. Let's go to the daily time frame. So still, this is going to be the so where's 3 right here? Okay. So on this candle right here, measure from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be 10. So 1. Sorry if we're counting this one. So it'd be number 10, guys. 10th day that the Ethereum longs to shorts have been greater than 3 to 1. The last time that happened was 6 days back in November. And I don't know if you guys were around in November. I don't know if you guys remember what happened back in November. But it looked something like this. Something like this. Oh, let's just go find it. Looks something like this. We call that the Screaming Eagle. So, because of that, I am, listen, I've got the scenario on which I'll take a long position for Bitcoin. But overall, I am looking for any and all reasons to be short on it. Looking for any and all reasons to be short on it. And again, I'm already short on ETH. I'm already down with the get down. Because that's a dumpster fire right there from a technical perspective. Doesn't mean I have no doesn't mean there's no impossibility for me to be wrecked, but I'm just saying, this looks like a dumpster fire. Crypto Tiger, what's going on, man? Good day, Justin from Australia. What's my biggest loss and how did I overcome it? Searching for ideas to get my mojo back and get rid of this monkey. Thanks in advance. Hey, no problem, man. Happy to help out. So I've been doing this for a long time, and my first 2 trading accounts in options, I completely blew out. When I started trading Forex, after that, I never blew out an account because I started taking risk management seriously. What I would recommend, man, is just take the time, take market cycles like these to develop an if this then that strategy. Develop an if this then that strategy. If you are new to trading or if you have had bad luck in the market cycle, tell anybody that tells you that price action is king, tell them to go fuck themselves. Get yourself a reliable basket of indicators and use that as the basis for your trades. I would highly recommend that to all beginner traders. Do not use anything like RSI or stochastic or Bollinger Bands or MACD. Well, I guess if you had to pick one, MACD is probably the best bet. But there's lots of really good indicators out there, man. Ichimoku, EMAs, Fisher Transform, Wadatar Explosion, OBV. There's the list goes on and on and on, man. There's some really, really, really good indicators out there. And they're not going to give you the the 10,000x results that you want, but they're going to get you in good trends and give you good profits, and they're going to catch reversals if you know how to properly play them. Take a long time playing with the settings on your indicators on the time frame that you want to trade. Pick one time frame that you want to trade. I recommend probably XBT USD or ETH USD perpetual swap. Those are going to be your most liquid markets and the most popularly traded ones. So your Euro USD or your JPY USD for Forex, for example, your most popular currencies. And then develop an if this then that strategy. If this happens, you do this with very tight risk management. If you do that with a small capital account over 6 months, you can see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Because remember, you're learning a skill set that is highly scalable, that you can take across any asset class and any time frame, that you can actually make. If you know how to trade, you can make money not just trading. You can make money teaching people how to trade. You can make money. There's all different kinds of ways, man. Heck, you can even, so I had this conversation with my buddy the other night. He's like, you talk about so many different scams on your show that anybody watching your show could probably make a killing just having you tell them how scams work or how to spot scams. My biggest loss when I first blew up my initial accounts on options were 5 figures. I'm not gonna lie. I've been very upfront about that. Yeah, shit happens, man. Shit happens. You just keep grinding, man, and you don't make those same mistakes again. So I want to, because this is important, man. I want to focus on that a little bit more. Recently I'd say my biggest loss is briefly being on the wrong side of the market back at 6,000 and then having to readjust and get a worse entry position. That'd probably be the worst. I mean, if I go back and look at my trade journals, I've had losing trades. Like I just had one this morning. Excuse me. Looking back over the month of March, let's see here, 14 trades the first week of March. March has been really good, man. 13 wins, 1 loss back at the first week of March. We're about to close out the second week for the trading group. Let's see here. So we've got 16 closed positions. 4 losses, 12 wins. Not bad. And about 4 or 5 open positions right now. So March has been really good, man. February is really good. January was really good. Haven't had any huge losses in a while because I take L's, man, but risk management. They don't blow up my account. I would need to have a bunch of L's in a row, man. Nikki Van, good to have you here. Turd Ferguson says kicking the can down the road. I'm going to trade the whack-a-noodle position. That's the new coin pattern trader stream. Do we think Bitcoin can reach $100,000 in 5 years? I have no idea what the fair market value of Bitcoin will be, but it will be higher than it is now. I highly believe that. What's going on, Tech Engine? Peter says, I like a change your name, bro. Are you only doing the one stream daily? Yeah, that's what I do, man. I'm gonna be probably going on. Should make the dumpster fire indicator. I'm gonna probably be going more on other people's streams. Just this week's a little difficult because again we're moving and everything. I missed something. Cruz says, Bitcoin forming the same levels as 9th, so September in 2017. It can go to 3,000 or below. What do you think? In my opinion, we need to go down around 2,900, then bounce to the $3,000 area. Hashtag this is not financial advice. Yeah, listen, but the only problem I have with that is that, yes, that's my general analysis, but it's also like common analysis. I don't know why that necessarily is. But it's easy to be a perma bear, man. So again, if price never revisits this level, which this is going to sound silly, but it's true. If the bottom's in, then we're not going to retest it. Now, I'm not personally of the opinion that the bottom is in because there's no confirmation. We'll have confirmation once price convincingly I mean, really, we don't have like macro confirmation until price is above 6,000. Because anything below 6,000 represents the opportunity for a pretty significant bear trap, man. But I mean, it's not like I'm going to be like trying to counter trade everything. You know, getting above 4,000, you start to get pretty excited, man. You know, and you're in a long. I mean, geez, it's a $500 trade. You're talking about like 11, 12. You're talking about 10 to 20% positions on something that I can leverage. Hell yeah. So yeah, it can definitely go lower, and going down below 3,000, man. Yeah, 28.17, but actually I'd be targeting below again. I'd like to see a liquidity run to this area, and below that it starts to get weak. But I don't think price is going to go that low. I've been saying that for a long time. Respect the meme. Power to achieve. What's going on, guys? Much wick, such wow. The screaming eagle and the whack-a-noodle indicators. Hell yeah, dude. And the dumpster fire indicator. Jeez. Jasper, what's going on, man? On Bitfinex, it's been at 39.50. How do I look at that? I don't really look at the Finex price, man. I can't tell if you were naming indicators there or Pokemon attack moves. Embrace being kicked in the teeth and learn. We've all been there. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, Crypto Tiger, man, it's cool, man. Well, I mean, it's not cool that you lost 1.3 BTC, but it'll be okay, man. Just it's going to be an overall positive thing if you keep a trading journal and just note down what you did wrong and what led to that, right? And what can we do differently in the future? But if you don't note down what you did wrong, or you don't document it, and you're like, it'll be better next time, now you're making a mistake. I highly recommend that you grab a trading journal and start back testing your trades, man. Peace out, blockchains. Thanks, man. How do you get time transformation? I've already messaged the trade. Yeah, so I designed time transfer. So time transformation, Quadrigo, Compassion coming out next month, and Fidelity coming out the month following. They're only available to premium subscribers. So if you are interested, the link's at the top of the screen, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. You get all our trade setups and signals, our indicators, my webinar series, our database library, and our live trades tracker. Love to trade with you, man. You're welcome to come in there. What time frame would I recommend trading to begin with? The hourly and the daily. And then I like to trade on the 3 hour and the 8 hour, but I think that if you start with the daily and the hourly, you'll do well. Maybe the 4 hour, but Trunk Boy, what's going on, bro? How long did it take to become profitable? 2 to 3 years. How do I get over a bad trade? Vodka. I'm just kidding. I mean, if it's significantly affecting you, man, you just unplug from the computer, dude. You go take a walk, enjoy some time with your family or your friends or whatever you like to do. I like to go play with. I got a small daughter. We go play. We watch some anime. And I just chill out, man, and then I take some time to realize that it's okay. It's going to be part of the strategy, man. Can day trading be applied for crypto? Yeah, absolutely, man. What's my thoughts on Bitcoin Cash? Hey, I wanted to talk about that Calvin Air stuff, man. That's what do you call it? That's nasty, man, if you guys don't know about that Calvin Air thing. Because I know the secret handshake. Yeah, I use leverage. Is trading more lucrative than holding? Yes, in my personal opinion. CRM? Yeah, we got to start looking at these, man. What time do we start the show? We started the show late, so we're about an hour in. CRM, YSE, CRM. Yeah, we'll look at that. I think I need to go grab some water, and then we'll start plowing through the requests. I just want to get caught up with the chat. What's going on, Dances Reluctantly? Mustafa. No, you're the best man. What kind of info beyond the obvious do you keep in your trading journal? What was my entry signal? Why did I enter into a trade? How did I feel? What were my confirmations for my entry? So entry signal, confirmations. How did I feel at the time of making the trade? As soon as I entered the trade, what was my stop loss and my take profit targets, or my metrics for stop loss and take profit targets? Because I generally don't use static stop losses. So was it an hourly close below a certain level, and why? And again, I write it all down, but in general, it's almost always the same because now I have a strategy. Was there ever a point, and then when the trade's completed, obviously I write down where did I take profit, where did I exit the position, did I exit early, and why? Did I exit late, and why? And then my comments in the end will be like, okay, is there any point in this trade where I had a particularly strong emotional or psychological reaction to a certain price evolution, and could I have done anything differently? Could I, what structure in the market, what pattern that I think would be repeatable or observable in the future happened that could have let me either maximize my gain a little bit more or reduce loss, et cetera, et cetera. So what could I do differently next time? Why do you recommend day trading on the hourly chart or the daily chart, not the 5-minute chart? Because most people are going to get wrecked trading on the 5-minute chart. What 3 altcoins would I go all in on if I had to go all in on three altcoins? I kind of like that Litecoin, Ripple, Doge. It might not be exactly what I said. I would probably, I think there would probably be a strong case to be made for God, man, I hate questions like that. Not Bitcoin Cash. I think there could be strong cases made for Cardano, EOS. Yeah, but in general, I'd stick to the big ones, man. Litecoin, Ripple, and probably Doge, man, because Dogecoin is the true coin. But, all right, guys. Hey, I'm going to take a super quick break, guys. When I come back, we're going to look at SPX. We're going to look at Verge, Tron, Litecoin, and NYSE CRM. And if we have time for any other requests, we'll look at those too, guys. While I'm gone, guys, make sure you guys go on over to freemmo.krakencryptocurrency.com. Doesn't cost you anything to get your opportunity to win 5,000 MMO coin. We're going to be running this for the next 11 days for 480 entries so far, guys. So thank you guys so much for making this fun for us. Don't get scared by Darth Maul over here. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them out, or you guys can go read about MMO.com or MMO Pro. Well, we're on mmopro.org, mmocoin.pro. I'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back, guys. Yeah, I'm starving. All right. So I'm going to throw some stuff on here and we'll get to what we can, guys. Neo, Singularity, and VET. I see VET. I have an interest to look at VET. And ICX. MBNB. All right, we'll try that, man. We'll try that. Jurgen, I saw your question, man. How did I feel? Probably meaning confident, unsure along those lines. Yeah, like was there an area, was there a time in the market where you felt very confident about the trade? Was there a time where you felt unconfident about the trade, where you got worried, where you wanted to exit? Chart Trader asks, do I still trade other markets than crypto? No, I only, the majority of my time is spent on BitMEX. I have been, just because that's where I'm at right now. A lot of people have been asking me to go back and trade Forex, which I feel very strongly about. Running in some upstream issues. Interesting. That's not bueno. It is. Listen, the weather outside's really bad right now, so I apologize for that. If it continues, I'm probably gonna have to kick off early because I don't want to put you guys through that. Sit here and watch this for a second. I'm gonna do one chart and then we'll review the upstream. The upstream here is much better than it was. It's been very good. It's been very good to me, but if it starts getting whack-a-noodle, then I'm probably gonna close the show out early, guys, because I'm not gonna put you guys through that. But we'll just start with the first one, man. We'll Verge XVG. Start off on the weekly and work our way down. I mean, XVG, I mean, however you want to look at this, doesn't look too bad. I don't like calling things accumulation, especially in crypto, but listing lazily to the downside and putting in some nice, Wadatar's showing us that we're putting in some nice bullish accumulation above the explosion line too. Haven't had a movement yet, a really significant one yet. Redo our lines here on Mr. XVG. Throw the volume profile up. Haven't done the Verge BTC chart in a while. See, that resistance is getting pretty weak. Pretty good up to here. It's all pretty shallow area of the volume profile. Where you got significant resistance starting. Really not till right here, to be quite honest, man. Pretty much runs all the way up to right here. Pretty chunky area of the volume profile. Yeah, that's your sticky consolidation zone right there. Spring. Support reestablished. That's pretty good. Yeah, so you got to, I mean, in the simplest terms, you got a pretty clearly defined trading range, man. This resistance is getting pretty weak. You had some pretty significant tests at it, rejected overall. Let's see here. Yeah, this is pretty congruent with previous resistance when Verge first listed. Price pulled back, roughly respected this area, sprung below it, and now reestablishing that level of support. This is correspondent with the bottom edge of the volume profile of the consolidation period that we're in as well. Verge would be pretty decent, obviously. We looked at that very shallow area on the high volume node. Price just pretty much tore through this area like a hot knife through butter. I would expect it to do it on the upside as well. So price looks pretty good if we can get above 233 in a general sense. Let's go down to the daily. Oh, sorry, I wanted to look at where we were at. Got a little bit of hidden bullish divergence right here on time transformation on this weekly candle. Still below the zero line, so no trending trade to be taken. We did have a bullish cross right here, but no, not a lot of impressive volume. But yeah, WADA would tend to imply that we are accumulating right here. That there's more buying than selling in general in the marketplace. Let's go down to the daily. Okay, Verge putting a nice little, nothing significant like everything else. It's only at what, 10%? So an underperformer. Underperformer in this recent little pumpy. Get a little bit of hidden bullish divergence on this candle right here. That would have been a good entry. Be about 10% right now. Let's see unnatural volume here. A lot of trap buyers in this area after it did pump. Let's see here. I don't have a mega strong opinion about this one. Yeah, we've got a, I mean, this is a real chunky area of the volume profile, man. It seems to be a pretty decent gap trade right here. It's about an 8%, about a 6% trade from 190 sats to, let's say 202 sats. Probably not be a bad breakout trade. Let's look at our daily EMAs and see where we're at. Nothing overly deterministic. Starting to look positive. Your daily 21 and 8 are about to cross your 55. You're currently above your daily 55, which is your momentum thing. Above 55, you're broadly bullish. And you're just running into resistance right now. Your 100 simple and your 200 simple resistance. I think pretty much congruent with that, what I just talked about. Broadly, getting above that sets up that gap trade. Let's see if that's congruent with that upper target there, chunky area. Yeah. So you got your 200 simple right here on the daily, and that's pretty congruent with that gap trade right there. That's going to give you a slower entry. You're only going to be able to get 5% off that. Still not a bad trade. I don't know, man. I don't really want to touch it. It is an underperformer, so by sector analysis or reversion to mean, you could say that, well, you know, all the altcoins have pumped, Verge hasn't pumped as much, but just because everything else has pumped 40, 50, 60, 70 plus percent, and Verge has only pumped 10%, I don't think that's the strongest. I don't think that's the strongest entry, especially right now. The daily does have you crossing above the zero line. And you are putting in some decent you are putting some decent volume. So bullish volume is above the explosion line. So there are two indications there for a trade. If I were to make something right now, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to re-enter, man. I'd either like to see if the daily closes above your simple 100. You could try and take a trade, 8% trade up here to test your simple 200. Also the top of the range right here. It's not a bad trade. You get the buy signal on your CC EMA right here, but you kind of got some whipsaw right here on these last two signals. Got a good one here. Again, you don't want to take these when price is ranging. Yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion about Verge here, man. It's not something that I'd want to buy into. Ichimoku, we're hitting the Kijun, getting resistance. So yeah, so broadly speaking too as well, like if we get that pullback like to the Tenkan-san or the 55, you could look to re-enter if that level is held as support. And then we talked about those upper targets as well, whether you're going off your 200 simple or whether you're going off that upper boundary like 200, 202, a little gap on the volume profile. Yeah, broadly speaking, I'd like to see price get above these resistances, the cloud, the 200, that volume gap. So I think we can, if we're going to go on a little bit more of a sustained movement here, I guess we'll revisit this in a few days. But again, I do see some bullish indications for a trade. It's not necessarily something I want to grab though. I could be wrong. Heck, man, I'm going to miss out on a 2,000% movement, bro. Verge is the future. Remember when Justin's voice was possessed? Breaking. Tether silently updates its terms. USDT may not be 100% backed by fiat. Let's go take a look at the news, guys. Oh man, the upstream's terrible, dude. I said we were going to look at I said I'd reevaluate. Is it really bad for you guys? You guys let me know. You guys want me to stop putting you through the torture or continue? D7 Tom says, "What's up, Justin? Been listening for my 10 a.m. break now. My 12 p.m. break. The guys on this job site hate me because I can't even hear them with headphones." Hello, is it me you're lagging for? You guys let me know if it's too much, guys. I'll probably pop off. Let's see here. Breaking. Tether silently updates its terms. USDT may not be 100% backed by fiat. Tether has gone through numerous scandals over the past year that created a dubious atmosphere around its use tokens. Now the company has updated its website, saying that its reserves may include assets other than fiat currency. Dun, dun, dun! According to a February 19th web archive, Tether stated on its website that every Tether is always backed one-to-one by traditional currency held in our reserves, so 1 USDT is always equivalent to 1 USD. However, the company has made a quiet change to that statement. Every Tether is always 100% backed by our reserves, which include traditional currency and cash equivalents. What do you mean cash equivalents? Arcade machines? And from time to time may include other assets and receivables from loans made by Tether to third parties, which may include affiliated entities. Every Tether is also one-to-one pegged to the dollar, so 1 USDT is always valued by Tether at 1 USD. That's some whack-a-noodlery, man. While we don't exactly know what other assets might refer to, but it makes us guess that Tether may hold part of its USD reserves in cryptocurrencies. Some speculation arose that Tether openly admits they send funds to Bitfinex. USDT is now officially not backed 100% by USD. So essentially what they're saying here is that Tether, so the way that I would interpret that is Tether is, you could interpret that as broadly bullish, meaning that Tether, if let's assume the best case scenario and that Tether does have the cash, they're like, well, listen, guys, we're going to take this cash and we're buying up some Bitcoinies, all right? Because we think Bitcoin's going to the goddamn moon, and this is a good time to get into our position. And we've got these billions laying around, billies with a B, and we're going to buy some Bitcoins, guys. So listen, yes, some of our funds might be in Bitcoin. We might have taken those sweet dollars that you sent over to us, and we went ahead and used those to buy Bitcoin for our own personal holdings. Scandalous? Or shady? Yeah, most likely. We would prefer Tether to just hold the dollars, but player's going to play, man. The CFO and General Counsel of Tether even certified this by a sworn statement. Yep. The report contained multiple caveats, as it was not a real security audit. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tether banking relationship announced. Tether reopens account verification and direct redemption. Here it is right here. Every Tether is always 100% backed by our reserves, which include traditional currencies and cash equivalents, and from time to time may include other assets and receivables from loans made by Tether to third parties. Read Bitfinex, which may include affiliated entities, collectively reserves. Again, Bitfinex. Every Tether is also one-to-one pegged to the dollar, so 1 USDT is always valued by Tether at 1 USD. We got the money, man. Don't worry. We got the money. I don't know. We've just had Tether, Tether scandal after Tether scandal after Tether scandal, and I still use the stuff. So if there's something better to use, I'll use it. All right. Broadly speaking, let's look at Tron. All right, let's see here. Time transformation gave us the buy signal in the previous daily candle. Let's see here. We got falling off negative volume from the Wada Tar, potentially going to flip bullish on us. Daily time frame here on the good old Tron. Let's look at our EMAs. Still got underhead resistance. Haven't been able to close above the 8 exponential yet, and rejection right here from our 100 simple. On that wick last night, daily Ichimoku. Daily Ichimoku struggling valiantly to get back up inside the cloud, just consolidating around the bottom of the cloud. PVR. Right here. Actually, we need to look at more. Yep, let's look at more. Okay, so broadly speaking, stop loss hunts down into LVNs, consolidation in an HVN node right here. So let's start with the fundamental. So almost all altcoins have pumped except for TRX and BTT and NEO, apparently somebody pointed out. The bearish volume is falling off. Volatility is getting pretty low. Nice little double bottom action. Daily inverted hammer. Daily evening star. I still like it, man. I still like it. It's mine. What was it, 573? Where are we at? Yeah, 578. exactly where price is right now. So I'm back at break even. Oh, that's I'm looking at spot price. Let's look at Tron at H19. Yep. So this is what I said last night in the chat too. So we were watching TRX H19, and I'm going to stand by that wiggly line. So we've got our range, we've got our consolidation area. Price breaks out of it or attempts to, pulls back down to that 583 level that I was talking about. And I'm comfortable with price pulling back down to that 583. If it holds this level as support, should get a nice little kickoff here to 606, which is my first take profit target. Yep, I still like it, man. Still like it. Yep. More broadly as well, look. So here's TRX on the weekly. TRX on the weekly. TRX on the weekly time transformation is done pretty darn good with this. Coming back down to previous resistance, looking for an SR flip. It's a pretty critical turning point in the market right here, guys. So we'll see. But I think that TRX, just from a sector analysis kind of point of view, TRX should put in some nice performance. So yeah, a little bit more speculative on my position there, but I'm good with it, man. I'm good with it. Daily technicals look a little bearish. We went over those. EMAs. Everything's still overhead. Everything's still trending to the downside. Let's see if we get the movement that we want right here. Could go sideways for a little bit longer. Or we could hit the stop loss. We got the money and we will do with it as we please. Yeah, pretty much. LTC USD, let's go over to Finex. So look at the Finex chart. All right. Weekly Fisher's not yet in the overbought territory yet. Obviously, things are still bullish here from Mr. Wada. It's a little bit of an indecision candle at the top of the weekly. This confirms it to be a hanging man candle at the top of a range. Again, I have a very strong opinion on LTC USDT and LTC BTC and LTC H19, but let's talk about Finex here. Weekly time frame. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? Golden crosses and shit like that. They give you way too lagging of indicators on your higher time frames. But just looking at this for a little bit of SR, yeah, we've got our slow link EMAs above us. Nothing to be done with the Chimoku there. Look at BPVR. Interesting. Okay, let's take all that. Let's take that data out and just look at this data. Plug in this HVN. You got your previous breakdown block right here. So sticky area, man. Get above this, it's pretty good. Our next significant resistance comes in around $72, $70 if you want to be a little bit more, but if you want to be a little bit more conservative. But yeah, we had a sticky area, a lot of aggressive selling in this area right here. We've pretty much been able to get over that. Now Litecoin's trying to hold it as support. I'd like to short a liquidity grab above this area, to be quite honest. But if I'm wrong, and Bitcoin can clear this HVN, it's got another 20% upside here before you run into your next HVN. Again, price likes to move through those areas like butter or stop loss hunt into zones like that. All right, let's get another daily. A little bit of falling volume, obviously, and a little bit of consolidation here. You can make the argument that this is a bull flag. I don't really know if I want to view it that way. Everything's still pretty bullish as far as your EMAs are concerned. Price being held up by the 8. Obviously, you got your 21 and your 8 above your 55. Getting a lot of crosses, man. Getting daily golden crosses on this shit as well. Here's your 55 crossing above your 100. Heck, you're about to have your 100 simple crossing above your 100 exponential. That's funny. The humming? One Piece, man. I got it stuck in my head. Let's see here, man. Let's go compare this with my LTCH19 chart. Broadly speaking. So if Ethereum does what I think it's going to do and brings down the market, I'd like to short a liquidity grab above resistance. The longer and longer and longer I look at this, it becomes unlikely that that happens. Just the same with ETH, man. Here's that nice little daily pump on LTCH19 that we saw, got sold into. Go to the Litecoin Bitcoin pairing. That zone right there, 1548 to 1650. It's the previous bearish order block right there, and current significant resistance. So I guess if we get above that level, I got to put moon boots on. But until then, I got to look at that area as resistance, mate. Justin, that humming is large. No, it's One Piece, man. No, that's me, dude. Oh, that's all me, man. I got people that help me out, other traders and analysts that contribute their ideas as well, but the majority is me. My webinars I shoot myself. That good stuff. All right, 224, guys. I got to kick it, man. I got to kick it. I've been live for 2 hours. I still have a ton of moving I got to get done today. And you know what's crazy is, like, for all that volatility, none of my positions really changed a whole lot over the night. Would I buy Litecoin right now? Hell no. Hell no, dude. You listen. You either wait for a significant pullback, or you buy the breakout. But I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be sticky, man. I need to see price confidently reclaim this area as new support. Right now, it's butting against it as resistance. You definitely don't buy the top of the market cycle right there, man. Especially on a weekly hanging, man. Don't like it. So yeah, Litecoin's been pretty good, man. Litecoin's been on a nice tear. And you don't want to be the guy that, generally you don't want to be the guy that tries to call the top of a very strongly trending market. So just wait for a little bit of confirmation here, because Litecoin's got a ways down to go if it does retrace healthily from here. Boom. End of January. This bad boy right here? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying Litecoin has to drop, but I'm saying until it breaks above resistance, resistance is resistance, and I typically like to short resistance. Am I an anime junkie? No, but I do like anime. This is TradingView B4D. All right, guys, that's it. I got to go, guys. I got these movers coming here in a little bit, and I got to coordinate with them. So, anyways, let us go on over here to news and stats. I'm gonna pop that article here in the chat right here, guys. Boom. All right, of course, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Very good chat, very good time, very good questions, very good conversation, man. I'm very pleased and happy that you guys take your time and spend your day with me. Again, I value your time. I try to treat this like the serious occupation that it is. And again, you guys are great, man. I have a lot of fun doing this with you guys. So anyways, honestly, overall, not a whole lot of my positions have changed. Still, especially for the members watching, guys, still in everything that I was in last night, Actually, with no exceptions. Yeah, with no exceptions. Still, let's see here. I went over on that again. I'm not gonna do it on the stream. But if you guys go out and search for Pili on Twitch and watch toward the end of the stream, you guys will get an update of all the positions that I'm in. Let's see here. Satoshi Nakafomo, good to see you, man. Let's see here. Last one. ONT BTC. I'm just going to glance at it, man. No, still looks pretty good, dude. Still looks pretty good. Just waiting. Oh, shoot. You guys, you can't see that. Still looks good, man. Mr. James. Guys, go over to freemmo.crackencryptocurrency.com. Take part in the giveaway, guys, to get your 5,000 MMO coins. 5 lucky winners will win 5,000 MMO coins apiece. If you would like to trade along with me and the team, if you guys would like access to my indicators and signals and setups, as well as my premium webinar series, our database library, and all the other stuff, premium.crackencryptocurrency.com. I'd love to help you guys learn. Let's see, anything else for the show? If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, leave them in the comment section down below. Or come on over to Discord, guys. Discord.crackencryptocurrency.com. It's where you can get your daily dose of TA and conversation when I am not around. Meet anybody that's kind of into, again, everybody's going to trade a different way. Everybody has a different trading strategy. So you do need a community to help back you up and support you, is my honest belief, guys. So you're going to find what you're looking for in there, guys. And the question for the day, man. But the cup and handle, just stop it, man. T7. Shoot. What was I going to say? Oh, the question for the day. The question for the day is, oh, if you guys want to catch the latest free signals, you guys can go check out the blog too or the Discord.